Okay, bad news guys, this construction does really completely block my path. I hope I'm going the right direction. We are officially no longer in Stuttgart. I will right now go and try to cross the entire city of Stuttgart without using a single road. I seem to have a little unexpected problem. One of my fingers is bleeding a bit. It's Waterfowl Tuesday. Okay, hi friends, I am back in the Dürnitz in the Alte Schloss where I left off yesterday. It is now Wednesday morning, and I'm ready for the second leg of our Stuttgart No Road mission, the much more uphill leg, I'm afraid. It is much rainier today than yesterday, so I hope I can at least slightly avoid that, but I'll do my best. It'll stop raining eventually. So yeah, let's go. Okay, here we go. So this umbrella perspective, together with the nice background chatter of the rain, may be your view for the first part of today. I'm still inside the inner courtyard of the Alte Schloss, and I noticed I forgot to mention yesterday what's actually in here. So this medieval castle built around 1200, meter thick walls, so I couldn't even get a GPS signal inside. It actually houses the Württemberg State Museum, which is a historical museum. They have some good exhibitions, even like a free one inside there right now. But definitely worth a visit if you're interested in that. I'm now staying on Schillerplatz, which is one of the most squares with the most old buildings to see here. That way out is Schlossplatz, which is actually, historically speaking, outside the traditional boundaries of Stuttgart. So only what we're inside right now is like the historical core of Stuttgart. What you just saw, what I'm just walking past here, the big church, is Stiftskirche, which is a Protestant church. It's kind of the central church for all of Württemberg, historically speaking. And yeah, I mean, anything that's like inside the city center here, any tourist guide will tell you what it's all about. So I'll just make my way through it here somewhat quickly. All of this is pedestrianized, so I have no issues with interacting with any sort of roads here. Our next stop is just like a bakery because I have to grab some lunch. So up in front of us here we have the Stuttgarter Rathaus Town Hall. It's probably not one of the people's favorite examples of Stuttgart post-war architecture. The entire inner city of Stuttgart was completely destroyed after World War II, and any historical-looking building you see has had to be rebuilt, like the church and the castles, and everything else is visibly newer, and so there's not really much of a historic cityscape inside Stuttgart that you can admire the way there is in smaller towns. Food successfully acquired. Now we're heading over there, up east. Maybe we should go and check if the Paternoster in the Stuttgart Rathaus is running. Wait, detour. Is this kind of elevator that is constantly moving and is just open towards the doors, and just slide through the different floors. They're quite rare these days because they feel and are a bit dangerous. But we have one running in the Rathaus here, and you can just walk in and check it out. In addition to Stuttgart post-war architecture, the post-war era also gave Stuttgart a lot of its current city planning. which was at the time extremely car-centric. So all of this, like the Marktplatz where it just was, all used to be like parking lots in the when they designed that in the 60s. And while a lot of this, like all this pedestrianization in the city, has counteracted a lot of some of the car-centric decisions of decades previous, there is still Stuttgart is still quite a car-centric city, and there's quite a lot of things that bear that mark. For example, if you take the train to Charlottenplatz, which is right over there, you might get out and think, well, where's the Platz, where's the square? Because all you see is a gigantic intersection of two big roads. But right now, I'm too lazy to cross that big road, and also we want to experiment with different modalities of not roads, so we are instead going through the Rathaus U-Bahn station. Also, it's not raining down there. Oh, I had planned to get out there, so that's not happening. I guess we have to go over the road. I hope this doesn't jeopardize the mission. Okay, so to go back down through the U-Bahn station to where I came from, so I came out here, and now we're crossing the road straight ahead of us. What is coming up is one of the more delicate parts when it comes to no roadsing. And there is like construction going on there, which I don't like. Okay, bad news guys, this construction does really completely block my path. Like my plan it wasn't a plan to go under the street in the Rathaus station, emerge over there, and then cross two streets like that. And now my only alternative is to go like yonder, like along this street, which is definitely a road. I will see what I can do. Maybe we'll just be then in Stuttgart No Roads mission in the end. Or we define this part in front of the church as some sort of square and not a sidewalk to that other road, but that is a stretch. I hope that door there is unlocked. Horse. It is not, it's locked, okay. And this is not necessarily designed to climb over. Let me see what I can do. I don't think I can make my way through the parkhouse. I don't like climbing over there. It's possible, but it's also wet. Okay, that was in fact fine to climb over. I just have my pants are a bit wet now. I mean, it's completely open to the other side, so it's not like I'm going into somewhere where I'm not supposed to. Like the door on the other side is straight up open, so it's not like they would have been likely to call the cops on me or anything. I'll have to do another climb over into this playground because I have to get out that side in order to not walk along that parallel road there. I think over there is a pedestrianized zone. Now, how do I do this correctly? First, I get out of the playground and cross this road here, and I cross it kind of diagonally. So then I arrive over here. I could have also like crossed that road over there and crossed this road now. In any case, we arrive here, which is pedestrianized. This is not a road. And we arrive next to this church, whose name I've forgotten. And from here, we will see the bottom of one of today's protagonists up there, the Leonhardsstaffel. Stuttgart is of course famous for its Stäffele, because being pretty much everywhere at an incline. These kind of stairs are kind of dotted throughout Stuttgart and allowing road-free foot passage up any sort of hill. And this one, the Leonhardstaffel, is quite long. I don't know how many steps, but I will be feeling every single one of them in my legs later. And brings us here up through the Heusteigviertel, I think it's called, in which I think still belongs to Stuttgart Mitte. I said Leonhardstaffel earlier, I of course meant Lorenzstaffel, that's what this is called. The Leonhardskirche was the church we just passed down there, and the entire area around Leonhardskirche is the historical Leonhardsvorstadt, which was, I think, the first extension of like the Stuttgart city core. So I think, say in the 1600s or something, Stuttgart would consist of like the old city core, and then Leonhardsvorstadt on one side, and the Neue Vorstadt, which is today's Hospitalviertel, on the other side. But yeah, I'm still walking stairs, and will continue to do so for quite some time. But now, the stairs are colorful. Did you know this is how crocheted flowers come from? And apparently they just grow on these lampposts. Fascinating. Okay, we've now left Lorenzstaffel. So the playground is a street, but we're gonna ignore the street and just cross it, I guess. Head down there to that little staircase. Okay, so the situation is the following. I want to get in there, in that little gap between the buildings. But if I just go to the bottom of the stairs and walk along there, that would be like a bit too many meters walking along a road here. And obviously what I can't do throughout this entire challenge is like cross the road diagonally and then cross the road directly back diagonally to make like progress along a road. That's obviously not legal. So you can only cross the road and cross it back if you have like made some sort of progress, legal progress on the other side in the meantime. Which is like a little trick I intend to do here, which means I will go to the bottom of the stairs, cross the road over here, jump over a fence, which counts making progress, and then I can cross the road back to the other side. I think that's the plan. And this layout here is crucial because it allows me to get to the entrance of like a path. Like when I found that was what made this mission possible. Because like the center of Stuttgart is fairly easy to enter from the north, as we've seen through the parks, but it's basically impossible to leave west, east, south. And like this little path up there is like the only way I figured out how to leave it in any other direction than the one I came in. And this involves climbing on a little wall here. Didn't even have to put down the phone. Okay, now we just need to cross this big road here. It's gonna be a bit of a diagonal wild crossing, but I'll just wait until the cars on this side have the red light, and then I'll just leg it diagonally across, which is the case right now. And this is it. The holy grail of this mission, we see it is you're banned from driving a car in there. This little path up here. This is what made this mission possible. And we are going to follow it uphill, of course, to its very end. Okay, we are hitting another technical hurdle because I want to go just up there. but that would require following this street, which is a road by my definition for like, that's more than 20 meters. So that's out of the question. We cannot go that way, even though we just have to go into that little path close to us. What we can, however, do is go down there, over the railing, down to the street level, cross the street into this little park, which is the Bobsleigh-Anlage, and then cross out of the Bobsleigh-Anlage somewhere over there, go on that wall where the statue is, and then make our way up to Weißenburg Park. So this is what I'll attempt. Okay folks, this is not gonna work. I have been hemming and hawing here for like a couple minutes, but this down there is just too steep a drop. The wall is too wet and not climbable enough. I was thinking about like sliding down this pole, but I think I would also get hurt doing it that way. The alternative is like going up there, kind of climbing up there behind that fence, which is very much kind of almost people's front garden, which I don't like. Maybe we'll just have to take the compromise and walk along this street for like 20 meters. Okay, no, I'm not going up there, especially because it's very unclear to me how I would get down on the other side. So it is this little path it is, and the compromise it is. This is increasingly turning into Stuttgart some roads mission, but yeah, this is a difficult challenge. But I do get to show you another very nice little bridge, which again connects over a park over a road. The park we're heading into right now is the Weißenburg Park, which used to be private property, and again, for one of these garden exhibitions that I talked about yesterday, it was opened, was like given to the city and opened as a public park. It goes quite a ways uphill. There is a tea house there, and it's kind of our gate up towards the Bobsleigh-Wald, which is the forest kind of on top of the plateau there. So yeah, I'm inside the yard of the tea house now, which has these nice floor decorations. I need to get to like a path that doesn't seem to be connected to the paths up here at tea house, but it's down here. So I'll just make my way down this slope, and according to the map, there's like a fraternity house here. There's just a little path here, right? You can just walk down this way. That would be very convenient. This is all very slippy because wet. And I hope I'm going the right direction. All good, all good. So that was kind of unnecessary. I could have just come down this path. Wasn't shown on the map. Never mind. We have still some distance to cover, so we've been going very slowly for this first part of today, mostly because I was like fraught with indecision right there at that drop. And actually now this is the path just ends here. Wait, let's check again. Oh, now I found the path that's down here. Okay, this is the Bobsleigh-Klinge, and this should bring us up to opposite the forest. I haven't actually taken this exact way before. I just saw it on the map, and it's quite calm and lovely. I've made it to the top of these stairs, which, again, quite a bit of stairs. I'm now right at this next road, and behind it is the forest. I'll get wet. All the leaves are wet, but here we go. There are, of course, brambles. Ouch. That's more music for you to watch, isn't it? This way around. Okay. We're inside the forest. Inside the undergrowth. It is... I mean, it looks much brighter on your screen than it does for me. In here it's kind of dark. Which would be... And here's a resting bench, a Ruhbank. This is when you're a farmer and you don't have a cart and you carry all your produce up over the Bobser height on your back in like a big basket. You can like rest your basket that you're carrying on your back on these benches. I think that's what they're for. But yeah, this so commences the forest chapter of this mission. We're gonna be in the forest for quite some time. I failed to mention the last couple of times we crossed into a new Stuttgart borough. So most of yesterday, Rosenstein Park, that's still Cannstatt, and then the Schlossgarten is already Stuttgart Ost, and then the Oberschlossgarten and all the city centers, of course, Stuttgart Mitte. And we have now, back where that drop was, where I couldn't get down, that's when we crossed into Stuttgart Süd, which is where we still are. It's always further uphill. Kind of getting out of breath, less easy to yap at this level of incline. Okay, as we're about to cross this next big road, we are entering the borough of Degerloch, but I guess there's something much more important to see here. There is probably the most recognizable landmark of Stuttgart. This behind me is, of course, the Stuttgarter Fernsehturm, 217 meters high, built in the 1950s, and was like one of the first that was constructed in its way. It's like steel reinforced concrete, which I guess they hadn't a lot of back in the day, with that kind of basket on top overhanging. I think there's a restaurant in there that you can go to. But yeah, it's probably the most recognizable landmark of the entire city. And actually, to appreciate it, you're going to get a absolute novelty for this entire in this entire little video series. You're getting portrait mode. There it is. And now there's rain falling on my camera, so I have to stop doing that again. The Fernsehturm, I just looked it up, is like on, already forgot it, like 483 meters high, and with the Schlossplatz at 248 meters, that gives us a height differential of what I walked today up until here of a staggering 235 meters. Okay, then we are going to continue through the forest right now. Just in case that wasn't audible earlier, next to the street noises, when we crossed that big street right now, we crossed into the Stuttgart borough of Degerloch. The name of Degerloch, I think etymologically means something like dense forest, which, yeah, at least for this part, fits quite well. The area we're in up here is called the Waldau, which also has the forest, the Wald, right in the name. And here there's like quite a lot of sports fields. There's a stadium, there's a big climbing hall, and there's also, of course, the Fernsehturm. That's generally what people come up here for. I am back off the beaten path. Unfortunately, all of these little brambles in here didn't get enough sunlight because in the forest, so none of them have like ripe blackberries. But it is wet on all sides now. Water from above, water on the ground, water on all the leaves and twigs around me. I wish my line plotting had been a bit more precise. It was kind of just a red line that says walk through the forest approximately that direction. And I have to go through a little creek, or over a little creek, which is down here. According to the map, it's called the Kleinhohenheimer Bach, and it does in fact have water, but it also has stones. I should be able to quite easily skip across, even though they're probably wet and slippery. I guess I was worried about sunburn yesterday. I'm pretty sure I don't need to be worried about that today. And in fact, the only place I did end up getting sunburned yesterday is like on the tip of my nose, which is honestly kind of rude. But yeah, no, otherwise my body was perfectly fine off, except for, you know, all the couple of scratches like on my leg here. Can you see it? And like the little finger that I kind of got pierced by a pointy fence top. Otherwise, okay, I think we should have another path here. You know, I don't even feel the brambles anymore, you know? Okay, with one last wet hug, the forest has released me from its grasp, and I'm now back on the path. I'm noticing this series is wildly oscillating between actual informational content about the places I'm at and just story of my life vlogging. Let me know which part you like more. And we are here at a signpost which is pointing in that direction towards Birkach. And that and Pliening, which is the direction we will want to head, because that is the end of, that's where the city ends. I'm starting to get quite hungry, but I think it's very unlikely that I'll find any like dry hut. Well, what do we have there? Isn't it exactly what I was looking out for? You know? You just gotta manifest your dry forest huts. Okay, welcome to our lunch chat in this lovely little hut that is home to me, a bunch of spiders, and somebody's pants. Our lunch today is similar to yesterday. It is supplied by Bäcker Katz instead of trudge, and I have a Laugenbrötchen instead of the round Dinkelkringel thing, and also a proper filled chocolate croissant instead of the pain au chocolat of yesterday. So far today we have covered 4.7 kilometers in a fairly slow hour and 40 minutes. A, because it was uphill, B, because I had to like stand and consider things at like the difficult spots. But yeah, I will enjoy my lunch and then restart my walk. Okay, since I'm a vlogger now, I of course have to give you a room tour of this place. This is the roof. There's like cobweb things hanging around. There's like graffiti here celebrating, I think, the Stuttgart Kickers, who have their stadium here on the Waldau. They're like the Stuttgart's second with big distance football team. That's all for the room tour, but because I'm a vlogger now, I can also do another format. I can do a what's in my bag. And except for, obviously, water and the chocolate croissant, which I haven't eaten, which I'm keeping for later, I pretty much have not much in there. I have a pair of gloves, just in case I need to go through some particularly thick brambles, but I haven't like used them yet. And the only other stuff is just a little book for the train ride or something, which is a Christopher Isherwood book, Goodbye to Berlin. Okay, now enough lunch, enough dawdling. I will turn my GPS back on and get back on the road. We've exited the forest and we are now walking across a path in a meadow. There was a sign that you aren't supposed to walk on the meadows because they are growing like food for animals there. The grass is supposed to be fed. So we are, of course, being good citizens and walking on here. To our left, you can see the roofs of the Zillenbuch, Stuttgart Zillenbuch, and up there on that hill, you see 3 gigantic buildings. That is the neighborhood of Asimwald. Asimwald is probably the most special, most unique Stadtteil or neighborhood that Stuttgart has. it consists literally just of those 3 gigantic buildings, each of which houses like thousands of people. You can only get there by bus, like there's no U-Bahn there. But like from the top, I'm sure you have like a great view. I think it belongs to the Stadtbezirk Pliningen, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there's an apple tree here. I wonder. Those apples aren't ripe yet, are they? No. Not fruit thief time again already. And now we're officially entering into the Stuttgart borough of Birkach. Birkach is, well, let's just say it's not the foremost of Stuttgart's boroughs. It's probably the smallest by population, unless Botnang gives it a run for its money. And it is the only borough that you cannot get to by U-Bahn, obviously also not by S-Bahn. So you have to take a bus. And especially this northernmost part of it, like you can't actually see the thing, it's somewhere up there to our front and right behind those trees. Northernmost part of it, Schönberg, is like even harder to reach. I have a friend who used to live there, and it was always quite the odyssey to get anywhere. These lovely old farmhouses here form Klein Hohenheim. You might have heard from Hohenheim, which is further along the way I'm going, which is mostly known for hosting Stuttgart's second university that is not that well known. Hohenheim University is mostly specialized on like agriculture, agronomics, also economics, and part of it is hosted in the castle in Schloss Hohenheim, which is also built by the Dukes of Württemberg, I believe, for some female relative as a residence. And the university, being agriculture focused, does a lot of like agricultural research, and I think they have some experimental agriculture stuff going on here around in Klein Hohenheim as well. I now have to check which direction I have to go. There is something else that I have to show you that I didn't even think about. Right on the other edge here, up there, you see like a bit of a free area full of oaks. That is the Eichenhain, meaning like oak forest or copse or whatever, and it is in the like Stuttgart-Sillenbuch-Riedenberg, and it's quite a nice place to go. It looks very pretty. How they got it to not be forested is that historically, the pigs would have been driven through that kind of forest, and they would have eaten up all the acorns, to fatten them, because acorns aren't really edible for humans, but pigs can eat them just fine. And they would obviously eat all the underbrush and saplings and acorns, so you get like a clear area that has only the oaks there, and that now makes for kind of a special habitat for a bunch of plants and animals that otherwise wouldn't thrive if it had remained forested with dense undergrowth. When I was there last year, they also had like sheep doing the job of keeping the area clear, because obviously you have to do that sort of upkeep, otherwise it just all grows over again. So they had sheep there doing that job. Oh look, a road. Let us immediately ignore that and dive into the bushes. In fact, let's dive behind the bushes, just so we don't even take a step along the road. Look at this. The path ends, you guessed it, in a road, and there's a sign saying, "People, go left." I'm afraid I cannot do that. Well, I can go to the left of that barrier, but I will then have to plunge straight back into that forest and up the slope towards the Eichenhain as soon as the cars allow me to. Oh, there's nettles. Let's try to avoid them. Oh, there's a little creek. But it is fordable. Oh god, I got a fat cake of clay right on my shoe, but maybe that'll render it more waterproof. Maybe that's a win. The issue with open spaces like the Eichenhain is that at its edges, someone very much likes to cluster, and that someone is brambles. And also I'm like getting caught by not only brambles, but also held back by like some different kind of tree. And there's another type of thorny tree, and there's also nettles. So there's freedom. Okay, done. All the spiky plants in the world can't stop me from achieving my goal. Now we are in fact inside the Eichenhain. Let's see how good a job these sheep have done to keep it clear. And it looks pretty good. Oh, that's not an oak. That's some sort of pine. They electrified the bloody fence for the sheep that are usually in here where I currently am. Okay, I just remembered I can just like put my feet on the wire and hold on to the post. But yeah, this is the Eichenhain, and it's very pretty. Between those two oaks, you should get an even better view of the 3 blocks of Asemwald looming on the horizon over there. And on the other side, you see the houses of what I think should be Schönberg and Birkach. Where we're here right now belongs to Riedenberg in the borough of Sillenbuch. Also, on these meadows, you really do notice that there's quite a lot of biodiversity of plants that you don't otherwise see around. So it's doing a really great job of protecting that this kind of unique habitat, this unique biotope that they have here below these grand old oaks. And I'm afraid we don't have that much distance left. I think that was the last big hurdle there. We just need to cross the street, and then we'll reach a small creek that, if my maps are correct, marks the boundary of Stuttgart. That almost went by too quickly. But yeah, this has so far, I don't want to jinx anything, so far been quite an enjoyable challenge, even if not everything worked out like perfectly. I have enjoyed this a lot. I might consider doing more challenges of the same kind elsewhere, or challenges that are different. I have like maybe one in that I'm thinking about, and maybe I can also do at some point tell you about the time I visited all 152 neighborhoods or Stadtteile of Stuttgart. But that's for another time. That reminds me, last time I was here in the Eichenhain, I was like climbing on an oak, not here in the fenced off part, but there's a part where you can, that's like open, where you can do that. And I was like just chilling on a low branch, and there was like a woodpecker above me who kept like throwing acorns down at me. I don't know if that was deliberate, if the woodpecker was just trying to like hammer holes into the tree to store acorns, or if it was just trying to eat them and kept dropping them, or if it actually wanted me to go away from their oak tree. That's just a story I just remembered.
Hier gibt es nämlich viele und ganz interessante Vögel.
Ja, ich habe schon ein bisschen was gesehen, aber...
Ja, also es gibt hier der rote Milan.
I mean, I could just cut across here, but there's supposed to be a path somewhere. Some final blackberries. Okay, apparently I missed the path. It should have been here, but I don't see it. So just go here where the grass is a bit shorter. We'll make our way down the hill. And at the bottom of that hill is a little creek, which is called, I forgot the name. But it marks the border between Stuttgart and the next door city of Ostfildern. The Fildern are kind of this high plateau that we're on right now, mostly known for growing white cabbage. And this little creek here. Where is it? Down here. Marks the border. And we will make our way over. We can go across the rocks here. Like so. And with that, the map confirms that we are on the other side of the Auener Bach, which is what this creek is called, and we are officially no longer in Stuttgart. We have completely crossed Stuttgart almost without using a single road. This is the end of the challenge. I am quite hyped that after sitting at home and planning, I actually got around and got myself to complete this. I'm terribly happy about that. And I hope you enjoyed watching me do that, despite my lackluster, or let's say developing skills as a vlogger. And with that, this is Stuttgart No Roads 2025. Try it yourself. Have a good time. Goodbye.